Our craft today is a quick and easy upcycled wine bottle. You're going to need a clean glass bottle, Mod Podge, dot foam paintbrushes in assorted sizes, and acrylic paint. Depending on what you want your finished product to look like, you might want any of the suggested supplies I've listed here. Let's get started. Hi there, my name is Christy and I work at the Gila Bend Library. Today we are going to be upcycling glass bottles into beautiful decorative items for your fall table. So what I have here is I have a 750 milliliter glass bottle. I love coffee and I love flavored syrup, so I accumulate a lot of these glass bottles. I clean them up and I just hold on to them until I come across a project that I want to do. And this is a very simple, very easy project to make a beautiful decoration for your home. I have painted this and I've added some burlap leaves, and I got these cute little cork lights, and they're just little corks. They have batteries in them. You turn them on, and so it makes a really pretty decoration. You can add it to your table. But let's get started. The first thing you actually need to do is you need to clean your bottle. And I have found the best way that I have found to do this is to fill these glass bottles with very hot water, and then I let them soak in that hot water for maybe 15-20 minutes. Usually when I come back after that time, the hot water has soaked through and I'm actually able just to scrape this label off, including the glue underneath it. And then I just let them thoroughly dry. You'll end up with a bottle like this. Once you get the label off, you can do anything you want with this. It is important, however, to make sure that you clean the outside of your bottle as well. Otherwise, paint, glue, stuff like that is not going to stick to it as well. I take some isopropyl alcohol and just wipe it over the outside of the bottle to get any extra little dirt or grease that has been left on it. Now, for this project, all I did was I took these little sponge brushes, they're relatively inexpensive, and dabbed them in the paint, and I have found that on the glass, it's really hard for me to make a smooth paint job. So I prefer the rough textured look, and I get that by using these daubers. So the first thing I did after I cleaned my bottle, I have here orange, yellow, and red, nice fall colors. So I just took the brush, dipped it in the orange paint to start with to give us a nice base, and just tap your brush all over until you get a good thickness. And you can do the entire jar, the entire bottle in orange paint if you want to. If you don't, you can do whatever design you want. This is just what I chose to do for those autumn themes. Now this is going to give it a nice orange color underneath, and then the paint will dry relatively quickly because it's a really thin layer. So to get this different colors like I got here, just add a little bit of paint in different spots of different colors. I chose to add a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to use a smaller brush for that, a smaller sponge for the yellow, because I don't want it to completely cover the orange, and I'm going to scrape it off so that I just get a very light yellow in places. Probably not do the whole thing. And then the same with the red. The red is really, really strong. It's a dominant color. And I don't want a lot of red in it, but I want a little bit, just enough to give it that autumn feel. So again, I'm just gonna dab it in there. scrape it off and add a little bit of red here and there. And what's really fun about doing these is it's never going to look the same twice. You're always going to have a different design. You're going to have a different bottle. Every one of these that you make is going to be slightly different. But this will just give it a nice base coat. Once that has dried, like I said, it shouldn't take that long to dry. But once that has dried, then you can take your Mod Podge and your burlap leaves, and you can kind of decide as you're going what type of colors you want. I discovered on this bottle that I made, I enjoyed making it and I really liked all the different colors of leaves. However, the yellow leaf that I put in here, it really doesn't show up. So I think if I'm making this again, I wouldn't choose to put the yellow leaf on there. The red leaves really stand out well. The green leaves are all right, but I think the red leaves were the best choice on this. I like the really big red leaf here. Now on this one, I used the burlap leaves, and these are pre-cut. You can buy these pre-cut, but you can also make them yourself. You can cut leaves out of fabric. So all we're going to do is we're going to cover our paint with Mod Podge. And I love Mod Podge because it's thin and it dries very quickly, and it's very strong. It'll dry clear, and it really gives a nice texture. So you can just place the Mod Podge right over it. If you do it when the paint is a little bit wet still, you'll mute some of those colors and mix them together, which is kind of the effect that I want. So now I've picked out a nice red leaf. I'm just going to position it wherever I want. Make sure it is all stuck down there, and just let it dry. Just like that. Maybe pick another, let's see, maybe a small green leaf. Put it a little different direction. And there we go. So one side is completed. Now you could do the whole thing if you want. But what I'm gonna do now is I would let this dry completely. Once it completely dries, then I'm going to cover the entire thing with Mod Podge again. And what happens when you cover it with Mod Podge, it gives it a nice shiny finish, and it makes it very durable. These leaves are not going to flake off of here anytime soon. The other thing you might want to do, on this one, I actually added some glitter. It gives it just that little extra sparkle. If you're worried about your bottle sliding across the table or falling or scratching, you can take these pieces of cork, which I've done. On this one, I just set my bottle right on top of the cork, traced around it, and cut it out. And then I just used a hot glue gun to glue it on there. Another thing that's great about upcycling glass bottles is you can do this for any season. I chose to do this for autumn because, well, Thanksgiving is just in a couple of days. But you can do it for Halloween, you can do it for Christmas, you can do it for winter. I did this one for Halloween when I was looking for autumn leaves and trying to figure out this program. I actually came across these pumpkin napkins, and these were on clearance. So I picked them up thinking I could probably do something with them. And what I ended up doing with this one is I just took the entire napkin, unfolded it, and then this is actually a 2-ply napkin. So I cut out one square here, and once you get it cut out, you can actually take the the two layers apart. My old eyes can't see what I'm doing. So once you take these two layers apart, then you can use the top layer for your decoupage. Sometimes this back layer, you could use this for a white background if you wanted to, but I chose just to use the single ply. Once I coated the entire area that I was going to put that piece of the napkin on in Mod Podge, and then I gently laid it on there and smoothed it as much as I could. Once it was completely dry, I just took orange paint and I used my dauber and just kind of added it into the edge. You can see how the center is a little bit lighter. That's because of the color of the napkin. But this part here, it just kind of blends in. And then I just took a dauber of green and added the stem and put my light in, and I have a cute little jack-o'-lantern for next Halloween. So let's see, if this is dry, it's getting there. It's almost dry. So I'm gonna take and add my Mod Podge on top of it. There you go. That's really all there is to it. Once that dries, I have a beautiful decorative bottle for autumn. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the program. Bye.